I mean, think about this, but the CEO of Tesla is living at the White House.
Optimus, you can see that they start hiring for production line,
That's
QA,
massive.
a
Yeah.
bunch of new people. So when you manage a program, we know that we don't start hiring people for those roles until you reach a certain milestone of the product. As a leader of that program, what is my role? My role is to find out which line is not moving and then help unblock it. Apparently, Elon is thinking the same thing. Everything is working, everything is under control, except one thing. Government and lawfare and regulation is not under control. Elon right now is part of the government.
Mm-hmm.
You can say he played 40 chess, or you can say it's by luck, whatever. He even addressed that line, lawfare, government, regulation. He actually took an active role to tackle the most difficult problem, which is unblocking his product through government. So the bot in itself is 4,500.
Welcome, everyone, to another podcast with Joseph, or better known as Shrimp Tesla Long on X. He also has a YouTube channel as well. Links in the description. Now, we've already did a podcast, the first round with Joseph, talking about how many shares he has and why he keeps adding on. It was a really awesome podcast, and everyone seemed to love it. So I had to bring Joseph back. If you guys haven't watched that podcast, stop this podcast, go watch it. It's in the car in the corner, somewhere in the corner here. And then you guys can come back and watch this one. It was a sheesh moment. But in this podcast, we're going to be talking about some interesting things, mainly the things that are happening at Tesla that are big deals, but no one seems to care or notice because there's so much of them. And when the stock goes down, people tend to forget. People tend to go like, oh no, Tesla is only a car company. Elon is bad. Doge is bad. And Elon shall no longer be the CEO, kind of like what happened in 2022. But then when the stock went back up again, everyone is like, not complaining. So we're going to be talking about some of these things, and as well as some things that new investors and maybe even current investors can take note of when the stock goes down and stuff like that. So it's going to be a very awesome sheesh moment. I always forget to say smash that like button in these podcasts, but you guys do it anyways. But if you guys haven't, smash that like button. But let's start off. Let's start this off. So Joseph, you said something about the bot that you want to talk about that was actually pretty interesting.
All right, let's jump into it, man.
Let's just go into it.
So a little bit before I retire, about 5 months ago now, 5 months ago, I was in program management, mainly managing a software program for big tech. When you're a program manager, we have to handle the hardware, software, sourcing, manufacturing, production line, and QA, quality control. I just want to make sure that people understand every single project kind of managed in a similar way. There's always different component, right? But it's similar component. We have to manage all that. Everything happened in parallel. So where I think the Tesla Optimus bot right now we have different stages on program management when it comes to a product. We have the concepting phase, which is like, people throwing idea, design is coming out of initial design, etc. And then we go into the planning phase, which is like defining the scope of the product and gathering requirement. Like in the case of Optimus, it may be how long the runtime has to be, the charging time, their basic minimum viable product requirement. You do all the requirement gathering. We call it the planning phase. And then development, right? Development meaning design is finalizing a design, prototype is ready. Now we're doing testing. And then now we're gradually ramping up for manufacturing. And then this is the development phase. After that, it's in production. Production, if you really break it down, is really pre-production and production. Pre-production means get all the tools ready, the production line is set up, you test and make sure the yield of the product is good before you ramp up. So after production phase, it's going to be launch. You actually launch the product, making sure the yield is really high, quality is good, and you roll it to the production line, and then you continue to ramp up and increase the production number. So that's basically the 5 phase in any major product. In my case, when I manage a program, I involve the key player, right? What are the key player? I don't put every engineer in the room, but I do put the key leadership people from each department and they give you update, right? That's how you know where things are in the big picture. Some team may be faster than other, some team may be behind, but as a program manager, my job is to make sure we unblock the team so that everything is moving in parallel. There's no single point of failure. That's the whole point of managing a program. So in the case of Optimus, you can see that they start hiring, I think it's 48 or 44 jobs regarding test support for production line,
That's
QA,
massive.
a
Yeah.
bunch of new people. So when you manage a program, we know that we don't start hiring people for those roles until you reach a certain milestone of the product. Meaning, hey, now it's almost dev complete. We can slowly and gradually run into the making the production line and fine tune it and making sure start sourcing different things externally, or if we make it internally, ramp up those components, actuator, etc. So that is a phase that I believe we are at is designed for manufacturing, DFM, and then in parallel, the team is also doing pre-planning for the production line ramp up and then ramping up. So this is good because we're slowly moving away from the development into production, which is extremely important. You have to reach certain minimal viable requirement before you can talk about manufacturing because it's very costly if you start manufacturing stuff and it's really not ready for production. So to me, we are at the, if you put it into perspective, we're in a very good milestone. We're aiming to, I think Elon mentioned we're aiming to have initial production Optimus bot by end of this year. I'm not sure if I hear it correctly. Pejjy, you can correct me. I think the aim is to have about 600 per week by end of this year. So let's see how it goes. 600 is a good number. You know, it's not like 50 or 10. 600 is a good number.
600 a week. That is insane. 600 a week. You know, obviously, if they don't scale up from that, that is over 30,000 bots a year. And of course, when they start with 600 a week, of course, it's going to start scaling higher and higher as it gets more simpler and, you know, more lines and more demand comes into it as it starts to ramp up and scale, which is massive. And here's the thing, no one is seeing this. You know, everyone has their eyes right now on sales and Europe sales going down, vehicles, something that doesn't matter really. And everyone is just forgetting that, yeah, just a week ago, Tesla was just posted a whole bunch of jobs for the Tesla bot and Robotaxi, which is just massive.
I want to correct, it's not 48 or 44, it's actually 70 jobs, 70 in
70
3 months.
jobs.
Yeah.
Yes, 70 jobs. And 2 of them were in Greece for some reason. I don't know what that was so random, like Greece. Why? But that's insane. No, that's insane. The fact that, I mean, that's crazy. The fact that you said that it's out of development now, it's, you know, pretty much getting ready to do the production and all that, which is insane. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Elon said that by end of this year, they're gonna have several thousand bots in the factory working. And then by next year, that's going to be a 5 to 10x fold. And then the year after that is going to be another 5 to 10x fold, which is just mind blowing. And I can't comprehend that, but that's insane. That's something that no one is seeing. And it's a very, very big deal. What's really great about this is that once Tesla has several thousands, like just by end of this year, when they have several thousands of bots working in their own factory, it means they don't have to really hire that many people externally for current roles. For example, like production lines and all that kind of stuff, the bot can probably do that. Or if it's with 4680 batteries, like we've seen some videos of, that means in some way, Tesla's operating costs are going to go down in some way. So that's going to increase the margin.
More importantly, when they create 600 bot, it allowed them to do training in parallel with 600 bot rather than just 50 or 100. Think about it. I remember someone mentioned training a specific task or duty for each bot is about 10 to 15 hours. Now, if you have only 15 or 20 bots, it takes forever to train a small set of viable skill set. But if you have 600, all 600 can train different tasks. But imagine, in 15 hours later, you have 600 new features, new tasks that the bot can do, just because it's scalable. Is important.
Yeah, that's absolutely mind-blowing. That's absolutely mind-blowing. And I can't wait to see what the market will think of this when they actually do this by end of the year and beginning of 2026, when everything starts to come together. I'm very excited for it.
I remember there's a little hint from from Elon in the earning call, right? Remember, there's a question about is the Optimus Spot design lock, right? Somebody asked that question. As a program manager, my first response is, it's not a good question, because as a leader of the company, especially the CEO, they will always say, well, the design is never locked, right? It's always evolving. It's an agile way of developing. It will never be finished, right? However, he had a really interesting answer. He said, well, think of it like multiple train track or something. Everything go into parallel. So it's really hard to aim where exactly the end point is, because every single line, parallel line, is happening in parallel. So only when every single line is finished, then you can call it a complete. I think of it a lot because as a program manager, I always monitor every single hardware, design, sourcing, manufacturing, production queue as a separate line. And as a leader of that program, what is my role? My role is to find out which line is not moving and then help unblock it. Apparently, Elon is thinking the same thing, right? Everything is working, everything is under control, except one thing, Government and lawfare and regulation is not under control. Every time when we manage a program, we have to worry about regulatory requirement, right? And it's something out of control. It's like a black box. You're pushing the requirement, looking for approval, and you just pray, right? That's how we do. But think about it. Elon right now is part of the government. You can say he played 4D chess, or you can say he's by luck, whatever. But think about it. He even addressed that line, lawfare, government, regulation. He actually took an active role to tackle the most difficult problem, which is unblocking his product through government hurdle.
Yeah.
Nobody ever done that. We just pray about it, and hopefully we pass. He actually proactively make an action to improve that. Nobody talk about it. Nobody really see it.
That's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, the thing is, most people right now are thinking that, oh, Elon is distracted again and all that kind of stuff, but they don't understand that Elon, think about this, but the CEO of Tesla is living at the White House. Like, come on, like when you think about it, it's absolutely one of the most bullish things ever, in my opinion. It's like,
and somehow the stock go down because people think it's a risk. It's not a risk. It's a de-risk. But people hate. Of course, people hate him. Will start speaking up, doing boycott or go on TV, legacy media and talk shit about him. Of course.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are a bunch of people supporting this Doge effort. They don't necessarily go and protest and say, I support Elon. Yeah, nobody do that, right? We just secretly support Elon. And for a number of people that hate Elon, that equal or more amount of people love Elon that just don't speak up, right? So it's totally a de-risking factor for Tesla, not adding risk.
100%. And that's what I keep telling everybody, that look, it's a big de-risk. Now you see all these videos going around, which is quite funny. They're going outside of Tesla showrooms and they're going like, they're protesting. And I don't know why. I want to buy more stock after I see that, which is actually quite funny. But I always say that, okay, they're mad, right? These very loud minorities are very loud right now. But wait until you see what Elon actually does and saves them a bunch of money. That means many things. That means American, and I'm jealous because we Canadians get taxed to death. Americans, after this, you guys won't be taxed as much. In fact, I think some of your taxes will be limited. Maybe some of them even eliminated. You guys don't have to pay as much tax. In Canada, we pay 50-60% of overall tax, income tax, sales tax, and so many other stupid taxes. To taxes, 60%, which is crazy. So I'm jealous. And once the American people see this, they're gonna love Elon all the way. They're gonna love everything he does, whether it's the company, his Tesla company, his SpaceX, Neuralink, Boring company. Europe right now, because of what the Nazi salute that he did, that wasn't really a Nazi salute, they're going a little crazy. But that'll take some time for that to resolve. But I don't think majority of people really care there either. I know they're using this Model Y registration has plummeted 60%. Well, yeah, they're not delivering their best-selling car because it's ramping up. It's ridiculous. But
by the way, I also want to bring up one point about Elon playing 4D chess. David Sachs, the AI czar and crypto czar? You know David Sachs, the name ring a
Dave.
bell? So
Yeah,
David Sachs
I
is
see a
one of the
picture of him. I
hosts
think.
in
Yeah.
All In podcasts with Jamal and Jason
Oh,
and David Graeber.
yes.
Right.
This guy.
Okay, he's
Yes.
the AI czar.
Yeah.
He's the best friend, one of the best friends of Elon. And somehow, out of nowhere, he become an AI czar. Do you think it's coincidence or it's because of Elon connection? I
No.
don't know. I
You
don't
know, that's a
know.
very good point. This is a very good point. Yes. Oh man, you're just becoming more bullish. Oh, Joseph, you're gonna make me buy more stock now.
Think about it. Let's look into who David Sachs is. David Sachs was the COO of PayPal.
Mm.
They
Yes.
fight through the crack.
Yes.
They fight all this battle over the year in PayPal, and then become close buddy. And now somehow through different connection, I don't know what connection, he become ASR. He will help to deregulate AI to make US the number one in AI technology. He has good understanding, and he's a good friend of Elon. Another another de-risking factor that no one talk about. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's big. I actually didn't even think about that. That's actually a really good point because now you have Elon who's going to be who's going to be deregulated, who are helping in deregulation. Then you have this guy who is the head of what was he the head of AI in that
AI
in
and
the yeah,
cryptocurrency.
yeah, there we go. So you have this guy. So you pretty much have all these like very smart people, not politicians, but very smart people that know what's in the best interest of the United States in terms of technology and growth and prospering. And for some reason, Tesla is bearish all of a sudden.
I don't know.
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's crazy. I love it. I love it. These are really good points. These are, and this is for the bot. These are things that we don't, that majority of investors, especially new investors, when they get into the stock and when they see the stock falling down, they want a reason why it's going down. And they try to find so many reasons like, oh, because Elon is doing, Elon is in the White House and other things. Oh, Model Y registrations are going down. No one's buying Teslas anymore. And all the FUD things come. And it's just more fuel to the fire, which one green day eliminates all that.
So Pejjy, like, I'm in the Peter Lynch investment kind of camp.
Yes.
You know Peter
Yes.
Lynch, right?
Yeah.
I don't really believe. I'm just gonna come out and say I don't believe in correlation between short-term event and stock price. If you really look at the fundamental, it's really come down to more people fear about the stock, so they sell, than more greedy people on any given day. That's it. More people sell, then more people buy, and that's why the stock go down.
Yeah.
That's it. Money gotta go somewhere. Money usually go into real estate, stock market, the bond, or cryptocurrency, or sitting in cash. That's all.
Yep.
Money gotta go somewhere. It never disappear. So I don't really see it as a permanent issue when a short term the stock drop. So I have two stories for you today. Both of them
here
are
we go.
real life story. By the way, before we start, nothing I say is financial advice. Don't invest
Yes.
because of what I say. Invest because of what you know, you have conviction in, and you believe in. Okay, not financial advice. The first story is a company called Melco. Take a simple MPEL. In 2008, it's basically a casino company operating in Macau. Now the ticket symbol is no longer exist because I think it merged with a different company. That's another different story. I purchased the stock when it's around $10 billion market cap. Okay, $20 I buy some, 17 I buy some, 14 I buy some. Holy shit, I lost like 20-30% already. Year 2008, financial crisis, housing crisis, subprime issue. The stock keep crashing, right? It crashed to the point where it reached $2.7 per share. I lost about 90%, close to 90%.
Wow.
Crazy, really bad, really bad. But then I look at the company, their core value is about $1 billion. At the same time, they have enough funding to build a $1 billion new casino in Macau. So the core value to me is somewhere between 1.5 to 2 billion. All right. But the stock is trading at 900 million now. So basically below book value. I can sell everything and be fearful. I'm like, I'm never touch it. Anything like this. I learned my lesson. I'm never buying another stock. This is a bad mistake. Or I can buy more. So you know me, I buy more. But hell, I don't believe this is gonna go down. I don't believe after the financial crisis, nobody ever could gamble again. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
It's one of the 4 casinos with the actual license to operate in Macau, so that itself is worth a lot of value. Anyway, I put all my cash into it at 2.7, and by the time I sell it, it's at $42. So I more than
Wow.
almost 20x my money.
That's insane.
Now, the reason I sell it, not because I feel like, oh, 42 is high, now I need to sell it. No. At that time, the reason I sold the stock because it's trying to expand into an unknown territory. It's trying to expand casino into Australia, which they have no knowledge of. They don't know how to operate. There are a bunch of unknown and sunk costs. I don't want to get into it, so I decided to sell it at that point. In retrospect, the decision I made is not because the price is cheap, but because I think fundamentally the company is undervalued. And when you sell, you don't sell because the price is high, but because the company is doing something not according to your expectation, or it doesn't meet your objective again. So it happens to be lucky and get out at the right time. But in retrospect, our understanding of a company must be based on the company fundamental, the future earning and potential, not because of the share price. Because the share price can move in a very volatile way for a long period of time. And nobody can predict the market, really nobody. We think we can. The people who predict it correctly will say, yeah, I'm see how good I am. I can predict the stock market. The people who predict wrong usually don't come up and say, well, I'm wrong, but they just say, oh, okay, forget it. They don't talk about it, right? That's how people work. So I really want people to know, don't be fearful when the stock is low in price. Always go back to your fundamental. Is the company still executing according to the plan? Is the future potential and future earnings still intact? Or is it like some fundamental issue happening in the company? So that's one story for you.
Yeah, that reminds me what Jeff Bezos said, that the company is not the stock and the stock is not the company, because Amazon at one point they went down 80% too in the dot-com bubble, but the books, yeah, and everything was perfect. Everything, why is it going down? But that's a famous quote from Jeff Bezos, which I 100% agree. And knowing Tesla, that's exactly what it is, and Tesla is an interesting stock because it's a mega cap that's very volatile. No other mega cap is as volatile as Tesla. Like in 2024, the low was like 138, while the high was 490. Like nobody can stomach that. Like if you don't have a long-term vision for this stock, for this investment, you're not gonna survive. You're actually gonna lose a whole lot of money. Tesla does very well in punishing those who are invested for the short term, but really rewarding those who are in it for the long term.
Good. Now, with that said, I have a second story that match your sentence completely. Right.
Nice.
Right now, Tesla is 355. So before 2 split, it's really they have a 3-in-1 split and a 5-in-1 split, right?
Yes.
So that means the share is really 5,325 today, right?
No.
I have a friend who is very smart and a good friend of mine. I tell him to buy Tesla back in September 2019. At that time, when I buy it, it's about $15. When I tell him to buy it, it's about $15, $16. And then within 2 weeks, the stock jumped 20%. I don't know why, probably because people anticipate a good Q3 earning, so it go up 20% in a day. He sold it. He sold that right away. And then when I asked him, why you sell it? Well, because I make 20%. I mean, why isn't it what you're supposed to do is sell when you make good money? I'm happy. But I say, no, dude, this stock is going to 10x in the future. I don't know when, but it's going to 10x in the future. I really believe in it. He said, well, from my point of view, I make 20% and I'm happy. I don't know what the future holds, but I believe I'm good. So in retrospect, if you calculate the price when he sold, it's about $18, which is, sorry, at that time it's $270 per share before 2 split, which is corresponding to $18 per share. Oof. He missed out 20 times return. That comes in the year after. That's well, but if you really look at, he can put a post in Twitter and say, I made 20% in 2 weeks. I'm a genius, right? But then you miss a bigger story, which is you lost 20x potential gain for the years to come. So it's really come down to how you cut and slice it. But long-term investor, Pejjy, is how do I see a long-term investor? is when you don't even remember the initial share price that you buy at. You don't even
Ah,
know that price.
yes.
It's so low. I don't know, 15 cents. I don't know.
That that's so true. That's so true. But that I don't know. Your friend must been very sad afterwards, seeing that. Is like, bro, you man, what the heck happened, man? I could have. This is life changing. I could have, my life would have been different.
The funny thing is, Pejjy, along that time, we always make fun of him, like, hey, come on, man. I know, but come buy back, right? It keep
Mm,
going up. Along the way, the buyback, well, it's too expensive now. I can't buy back. That's year
yeah,
2020.
yeah.
7x later, he still did not buy back.
Oof,
Along that whole year, he can buy back, but he did not.
he could have, but he didn't.
Human psychology is like, I make a mistake, I will not make the same mistake again until I regain some,
Yes,
confidence, like the price
yes,
going back down. And then you
yes.
miss out all the potential
All of
gain.
it. Yeah. That's how it is. That's how it is. That's why dollar cost averaging is really the best method out there when you're a long-term investor. But I understand his pain. I understand his pain. Like I bought Tesla stock right after the COVID crash. I didn't go all in then. I just bought a little bit. It went up, then it went down. I'm like, oh, this is probably a good time to buy or start a position. And then I just dollar cost averaged all the way up until it passed 300. I didn't buy any because I thought it was getting a little bit a little bit overvalued. Then it went to like 414, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait until it was just overvalued at that time, my opinion. And then it crashed all the way down to 101, which was crazy. And I loaded up a lot in the 100s, and I was thankful for the opportunity. And here's the thing: many people, the crash that happened last week, I don't know. I think this video will be uploaded sometime midweek. And I don't know if the stock is down or not. I think because there's rumors going around that Tesla's FSD may get delayed in China because of the US trade war, all that kind of stuff. So this may impact the stock. Tesla stock is very sensitive when it comes to these very short term things. But I was very grateful when the stock went down from 400 to 100 or 101. And I was making videos about it. And I'm like, guys, this is the time that if you guys really want to buy Tesla, this is the time to do it. And I was showing receipts that, hey, I dumped my whole entire savings into it in the low 100s. And everyone was calling me crazy. It's going to go down to 69. It's going to go down to 50, 40, and then zero. It was amazing. It was the FUD was incredible, and I didn't happen again last year in the 150s when it went down to the 150s for some time, or
Yeah.
140s, and then we went back up, and I'm grateful for that. But the thing is, people, it comes back to psychology, like what you said. When the stock goes to all-time highs, they wished that they would bought when the stock was lower. But the problem is, they only feel that way because there's no fear or FUD or anything. Like it's sunshine and rainbows. But when it goes to fear territory, they go like, okay, no, I'm not gonna buy. But then you just switch that, like when it was all time high. But like, so what? So they have to look at the signal in these situation. How what it helps me to pull the trigger harder and harder when it goes down is by looking at the signal. And right now, Tesla has a lot of signal. Like back in 2022, sure, you could argue that when the stock went from 404 to the low 100s, there was no catalysts. Like it was bad, like interest rate cuts, Joe Biden not doing, not inviting Elon to doing anything and stuff like that. Which is funny because it was like, oh, I love it. Joe Biden is not inviting Elon to EV summits and AI summits. That's bearish. Oh, Elon is now in the Oval Office with Trump. That's bearish. So what? What's bullish then? So, anyways, it's funny. But at that time in 2022, like that was crazy. That was like literally hell for a lot of people. It was bad because there was no catalyst. Like the best catalyst at that time was Cybertruck. Like that's not a good catalyst to bring the stock even higher, like to bring anything, because we know that when it ramps up, we're not going to make any money, and it's not going to be much margin, or if there's going to be any margin. But now it's different. Now, and we're literally months away from affordable models, unsupervised FST happening in June. Literally by end of the year, bots being starting to be ramped up and production. Like this is the signal, and now you're seeing people like Bridgewater or Ray Dalio, who is the founder of
Yep.
it, buying Tesla. You're seeing all these big hedge funds buying Tesla.
Those are
Like,
good. Those are the sign. Those are the signs.
those are the signs that you got to be looking forward to. And sure, you can say that the stock went up because of the Trump pump, but that has merit. That has merit. Elon is in the flipping Oval Office with the president. Come on,
Yep.
that's great. It's big. That's
I, I,
crazy.
I always believe investing in Tesla has two major risks, and I try to play those risks in my mind and see if I can handle and tolerate those risks. Two major risks. One is government lawfare. You know, government work against the company. We cannot control government. Politics is politics. That's outside of our control. And number two is also affecting number one, which is Elon being Elon. He speak
Hmm.
out against the deep state, you can call it, or
Hmm.
federal bureaucracy. He being himself, he being truthful. And sometimes it may have a negative impact to the company. So that's number two. We have to address it, right? Number two is
Yeah.
real. People don't talk about it, but it's real. So what I do with that information, I think about it. Okay, Elon's not going to stop talking, or he's not going to be Elon just because of the stock price. So
Yeah.
when you buy into Tesla, you must take that into part of the consideration. Elon will continue to be Elon. If you don't like it, it keep you up at night, you should not buy the stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you consider
100%.
this is a fact, this is not going to change, I buy the stock knowing this will negatively impact the stock at some point during the cycle of this company. Then you just have to live with it. And we should never
Yeah.
really go back and talk about, oh, Elon talking stupid shit. He always talks stupid shit. That's part of the risk. However, by doing that, he also enabled more people to speak up. Now, I'm not sure if the 4D chess he play or that's just being Elon. He exercising his freedom of speech in X and Twitter encourage other people to speak up as well. Now, not everybody like Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Ackman or Chimo. Not everyone like them, but you can see after the election, Trump won. Elon continued to speak up. It encouraged other billionaires to speak up now. So the more
Yes.
people willing to speak up, you create a positive, a narrative that is to counter the false narrative from the legacy media. By doing that, you create a trust environment where people, hey, you know what? That guy can speak up. Maybe I can speak up. And okay, everybody jump in, and now we have we share what we believe in. It's no longer become just a one-sided Nazi story.
Yes.
Now it's become like a balanced story. Hey, maybe this guy is doing the right thing. A bunch of people also support him. So that's important. That's very important
Yes.
to have the right narrative also share outside the company, not just an echo chamber.
Yeah, that's true. And this is why one of the things, Trump being elected really, and Elon behind Trump a lot, is because now, free speech, everyone's coming up and talking. Free speech is now a thing in the US. It's no
Yeah,
longer two-side thing. Like in Canada, we're censored to heck. Like we got to be careful with this liberal guy. What's his name? Trudeau. He resigned now, and I hope the whole party goes away. And I think they will. In 2 months' time is elections, and I can't wait until to have a conservative government. We will have that restored, hopefully. But in the policies look similar to what Trump is doing with mass deportations and too much federal bureaucracy and taxes are too high, all that kind of stuff. So it looks similar. I hope we get that same thing in Canada. But you just said that Elon is a risk to owning Tesla stock, which is 100% true. But what do you think is the biggest risk to Tesla?
all right. The biggest risk of investors themselves is focusing on the wrong thing.
Mm.
They're not focusing on future potential and future earning. They're focusing on what is the next bad thing happen in the weeks
Mm.
to come. We should not focus on the things that happens in the weeks. We should measure the company's success in years because it takes time to build those products. It takes time to ramp. It takes time to create culture and a ecosystem around those products. Tesla has addressing every single important market. We will talk about it. Energy market, autonomy market, AI,
Mm.
robotic is in every single important market. And they always think in terms of first principle. What is the least amount of effort and time and and resources needed to create those products? I also have one story for you regarding one of my friends who, in
Mm.
retrospect, should have focused on the right thing, but instead focused on the wrong thing. So this friend of
Okay.
mine, he held on to his Intel stock since year 2000. Despite his long-term commitment, the stock right now is still down around 60%. So it's pretty much an unspoken rule among our friends not to mention the word Intel around him
Oof,
because he
that's
got
nice.
some serious money in Intel for the longest time and it's down 60%. So what happened is back in 2014, 2015, I actually write up a proposal, not a proposal, but like put it down into PowerPoint because I know he's a PowerPoint guy. He wanted to look at the data and tell him about NVIDIA. Try to convince him to sell Intel CPU into GPU NVIDIA. At that time, he got about 250,000 in Intel. And I try to draw all the worst case and best case scenario where NVIDIA gonna be and try to persuade him to buy Intel. I'm not making a commission. I don't make commission from him. It's a good friend. I want him to
You just want to help
experience.
out.
I just want to help out. I feel like
Yeah.
the money's stuck somewhere that is not in the right place. Unfortunately, he didn't listen. He believed Intel is the mothership of CPU, and every single computer will need CPU. So worst case, the company will still, relevant, and it's not going to go down to. There's really no major competitor except AMD at that time. So it will still continue to be the leader in CPU. He doesn't realize one thing: CPU market is kind of irrelevant, and it's kind of saturated. It become a commodity. The real growth is in GPU. So let's look at the number. If he listened on the day that I told him to buy, I calculated the share price, and he put 250,000 into it. It's 273 times return, which is $68 million and $68 million.
Life change.
This is why we don't talk about Intel in front of him. Right? I tell you, we don't talk about $68 million, sir.
So did he sell Intel or does he still have it?
We don't talk about Intel, man. I told you, I'm not going to ask him. No, as of several years ago, he's still holding Intel. He's very stubborn, man. He's very stubborn. Like we don't talk about. I don't know. I don't want to ask. Right? It sounds very aggressive.
Oh my god. Ouch.
Yeah. So what happened in this story? You got to learn a lesson. Everybody must learn a lesson, which is we should not focus on the current earning and current potential, just the current earning. We need to focus on the future potential and future earning of the company you're going to invest in, because that's where it's a weight machine, right? Long-term investing in company is a weight machine. Eventually, your company's size, market cap will justify based on your earning in the future. And
yes,
we all must learn the lesson, so we be a better investor.
Yeah, and Tesla is literally that story. Like when you look at what they're doing with the Robotaxi, with the FSD energy, I mean, we just $3 billion in just energy. One thing that I do want to say that many people are missing and not noticing, and just too focused on the short term on the vehicles, is the fact that Elon did say in the Q4 earnings call that they're working on a third Megapack factory. Like that's math. Like if you do the math, like Megapack Shanghai, they have capacity to do I think 60 or 80 gigawatt hours, but they're only limiting it to 40 at the moment. Let's just say 40 is what they're going to do max, and they make the third Megapack factory, and that's also 4 gigawatt hours. That's 120 gigawatt hours at least. That comes down to nearly $100 billion in revenue. That's literally just from the energy alone. That's literally the entire 2024 revenue of Tesla. Like, this is why it's very important to look at a long term. This is just energy. Like when you look at FSD Robotaxi, this is something that's going to think, in my opinion, not financial advice, but I'm very convinced that this autonomy, Robotaxi, FSD, is the reason why Tesla is going to be valued 10 trillion in the next 5 to 7 years, in my opinion. That's what I think, which is a stock price a little over $3,000 per share. I highly do believe that, because when Tesla has a cybercab on the road, which by the way, it's gonna happen in June, according to Franz. He slipped that out when he was talking with what's his name on I forgot his name.
Jay Leno.
Yeah, Jay Leno. He slipped that out by June that we're gonna have cybercabs rolling in Austin. I'm just like, I thought it's gonna be just the normal models, not cybercab, but you're gonna see literally a car that has no steering wheel and pedal in June, where it's just massive. It's gonna be mind blowing for many people that don't believe autonomy. This is gonna be the changing point. This is going to be the time where it's going to change everything for them. Oh man, there's now a vehicle that I can get into, use as a robotaxi that's much cheaper than Waymo, by the way. And then that's when we're going to find out, and customers are going to find out that, yeah, Waymo was not really ahead of Tesla, because there's a lot of noise going around that, oh, Figure, which is the bot, and Waymo, they're ahead of Tesla because they're already doing it. Okay, sure, they're already doing it, but wait until Tesla comes and scales that. In my opinion, I don't know how Waymo is going to survive when Tesla has their cybercabs and Robotaxi on the road, because the cost is going to be so much lower. But I digress. What I'm trying to say here is that once they realize that the Robotaxi is pretty much going to be the main source of transportation in the next 10 years in developed countries, at least in my opinion, that's going to change a lot of things. Now, one of the main things that's going to change is that if your vehicle, whether you're a Toyota, Ford, or whatever, if you don't have any FSD capabilities, and it doesn't matter if you're an EV or a regular car, you are not selling that car. It's like how today, when you want to buy a vehicle, you won't buy one without a backup camera. No way, it's too dangerous. I'm not going to buy one without a backup camera. This is going to be the same thing in 10 years' time when FS, full self-driving, is a thing. That's because it's going to be the safest thing on the road. As a parent and you have a kid, that's what you want to have. You want them to be the safest. They don't even have to drive to go to places. So if you're an EV company or a legacy automaker company, and you don't have any full self-driving capabilities in your car, you're not selling that car, period. Like, that's it. It's done. This is why I think Tesla's licensing will happen to select vehicles, not every vehicle, because I think this is a little complex to do that. But that's one massive business that I don't think many people are seeing. And once that happens, oh man, it's a bigger business than the actual Robotaxi itself. That's one thing. But the other thing is that once customers realize and consumers realize that Robotaxis are 1/10 of the price, and there's no more headache of owning a car, of paying the lease, or paying the finance, or paying the insurance, or worried about a ding in the car, or worried about theft or anything. And they see that the cost of it is like 1/10 of what they pay. Why would they want to get a vehicle? Just get a Robotaxi. So really, in a way, I'm saying is that this eliminates car ownership in a way, because the economics become so brainless to get a vehicle, to buy a vehicle, to go through all that headache. So once this happens, Tesla's going to profit so much. It's ridiculous. We're going to be seeing millions upon millions upon millions of Robotaxis in just the United States alone. In North America, we see FSD happening in Mexico. So that's another place that we can potentially see Robotaxis as well. And eventually all around the world. Elon in Q4, he said that by end of this year, many cities will have unsupervised FSD, and globally, many places or countries will have supervised FSD. Like that, this is something that, to me, I'm just like, that's massively bullish. Now, hopefully, Elon's timelines are a little different. We know that, but that's insane. And he's talking about next year, many countries will have unsupervised FSD as well. So
one thing I'm not sure. When he say launching unsupervised FSD in June in Texas, does it mean a regular Tesla owner can add the vehicle to the system and be part of the team? Did they say anything?
Well, that's also my question too. I don't know. But Elon, if I quote exactly what he said that we're going to have unsupervised FSD vehicles on the road in June in Austin, and nobody's going to be in them. Like no driver, no nothing.
Right. But can I add my vehicle to the Robotaxi fleet?
I think this would be it. Well, they're testing it right now. So maybe you could. That's the part. I think we'll see what Q1 earnings will be. I'm very looking forward to it. We'll see what, I think it'll be more in depth. But Franz did say that they're going to have cybercabs on the road. So I don't know.
I think initially we may not have our own vehicle yet. It's all cybercab, or maybe some Model 3 and Y, or by Tesla themselves. Once that use case is mature, then maybe they start increasing the scope, including some beta FSD owner to join. I don't know. Usually it comes in increment. It doesn't come everything at once.
Yeah, because it's still like the unknown. It's like, okay, do Tesla owners really want to put their FSD onto the Robotaxi network for the first time? Because who knows what could happen. I think you're right. I think Tesla's going to do it their own vehicles, like their own cybercabs, test it out. But then just imagine, like, you're in the city and then you're just seeing a cybercab or just a Tesla with no driver coming and picking you up, and just you get in it and then you go. I can't wait. I'm thinking to come to Texas in July or August to see that, to see what's to see how that's going to be. I'm very excited for this. But as you mentioned, that you have to look forward to the things like when you invested in Tesla prior of 2020, you mainly invested in it because you thought that Tesla is going to be the first in making profitable EVs. And if your thesis was right, which was right, you made a whole bunch of money. You didn't do it based on what Tesla is doing and how Tesla's growing right now. You went based on that, oh, they have a whole bunch of Model 3s, they have this. So if they add this to the cash flow, if they sell this much, they're gonna make this much money. Well, that was correct. Now you have to do the same thing with the robotaxis, the FSDs, the autonomous bots, the energy. You got to look at this. This is what you have to look at. That's how you invest in Tesla. And that's how you invest in growth companies. That's how you do it. You don't do it because it went up and you had to get in because you FOMO'd in. You have to actually sit down and do the research, and that's how you can become a very successful investor long term.
Yeah. And I
So,
also want to think
sheesh.
about when it comes to investing, I always think about what are the real risk versus the risk that we cannot control, and how those risk items impact the share price over time, right? So I started
Mm,
investing in 2019, now it's about 5 years now. So I don't
yep,
know anything before 2019, but I can tell you what event that triggered a big drop after 2019. And most of them are under this category, the unknown, right? If it's
yep,
something you know, you can mitigate the risk, the share price usually adjusts accordingly to reflect the latest price. But the unknown situation are the one that really drop the share price. For example, the first one is the pandemic. Back in March 2020,
mm,
this is before the split. We go back from 400 something back to low 300 within a week or two.
yep,
Unknown. This is not a Tesla specific risk. We cannot control, and in my humble opinion, we shouldn't even care because it's something you cannot control, you shouldn't worry about because macro can do macro thing. You just have to sit through the storm and hopefully buy more share, right? The second unknown is when Elon selling share to purchase Twitter. That's an unknown. Nobody see that coming. We all
mm,
don't know how many shares sell, etc. It's an unknown. It's a Tesla specific unknown. However, it's not something we can control. If you feel comfortable, stay with the stock. If you don't, you feel like it's a bad decision, then sell. Nobody can control you, but it's not something we can predict. The third one is the unknown. I will say is November 5th. The unknown is Trump
mm.
won. Trump won.
Yeah,
It go back $100 within like 2 weeks. Unknown, but to the upside. Nobody see that
yeah.
coming. Nobody can predict it 100% accuracy. But by not staying in the market because of worry about something bad can happen will cost you $100 per share. That's my
Yeah,
point.
which is insane.
Do not take into the unknown into consideration because the most important thing is stay in the market so that you keep the snowball effect happening, compounding, instead of sitting out and hoping or praying that certain good or bad event may happen because nobody knows. It's just a prediction. Everybody can predict, but nobody can know for sure.
Absolutely. 100%. 100 flippin' percent. Nice cyber cap, by the way.
Mm, thank you.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's sold
That's a
out now.
nice one. Like it. Let's do something fun here. Let's go 10 years in the future right now. And let's say that energy, let's go section by section. Forget vehicles. Let's think about energy, robotaxi, full self-driving, and the bots. The energy, once, and in your opinion, I want to know what you think here. Once they fully mass scaled this and they hit their max and they're matured and they're growing at a 5-6% on an annual basis for energy, what do you think is the full value that Tesla can generate once it's fully, mass scaled and it hits its potential? I see you bringing up your little Excel sheet. What do you think is like, once they reach the max of energy, which I don't know, because that's unlimited. That's really unlimited in my opinion. But let's say they reach the max that they could. What do you think is the full potential of it for Tesla? Like as a business wise, like a valuation wise for energy?
My number is around $1,500, between 1,575. per share.
Just for energy alone. So that's about 4 to 5 trillion. I get those numbers too. What do you think about FSD and Robotaxi?
I break it down into FSD subscription, FSD purchase around 4,000 units now. That's my bull case.
Wow. So, okay.
Bull case. Base case 2,000.
Wow.
Bull case worldwide launch everywhere. Pretty much taking care of. Take over the car purchasing. It's with 2,000. But the bull case is 4.
Wow. I have mine at the 3. So that's between, that's like 10 to 12 trillion. Yeah, that's what I think too for the FSC and Robotaxi. And how about the bot? That one is
Okay, so the bot in itself is 4,500.
Oh, so just a little bit more than the Robotaxi. So about 14 trillion plus 12 trillion plus 5 trillion. So yeah, that comes a little over 30 trillion, just like what Elon said.
The problem
Jeez.
with bot, the reason why it's not higher than 4,500 for the bot, because I'm seeing increasing competition from China. People can argue, hey, is it real? Is it fake? Are they really making those videos, but behind the scenes it's not ready? I believe Tesla will not be the only player in this market.
Yes.
So I put a relatively more, keep the lid on, a little bit conservative, 4,500, yeah.
Yeah, these are good numbers, and you brought up a very good point that Tesla won't be the only player for the bot thing because now everyone's doing it. I feel like Tesla's main moat is the Robotaxi. Do you agree with that? Because they're the only one that has real world AI. No one really has it, and no one really can have that much data unless they steal it somehow from Tesla.
For the time being, yes. For the time being, and there's no safety. There's some safety concern of AGI bot, but driving, it's all about safety. It's all about safety. Tesla, I don't see anybody really being a second meaningful competitor yet.
No, but by the time they do it, it'll be, well, as Elon says, the competition is like distant second, but I'm not too sure how that, for Robotaxi and FSD, yes, I can clearly see that. For the bot, man, I'm seeing some incredible things coming from China. My God, China's doing, they're doing crazy things with the bot.
Mhm.
Like I'm seeing some crazy things. But Elon, he's still saying that we are the most advanced when it comes to the bot as well.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the number I gave you is only around 2030, right? So
yes, 2030.
The question is, what happens 2035 when the bot become increasingly take over the profit margin and FSC kind of flat out, but the bot will continue to grow. I don't know how long. To me, it's at least 20, 30 years.
What do you think the value of that would be by then?
I don't even put a number to it. It's just so crazy. It's just like, what's the point of money now?
Yeah, then money becomes like, what is this money thing? Like, what's the point? Yeah,
when you say, okay, $60,000 per share versus 100,000, to me, it's irrelevant at that point. It's endless amount. So yeah, I mean, that's why I don't think about it.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, obviously, we just went like 5-10 years in the future, so none of this is financial advice. We're just seeing what it is. But it's interesting that our numbers are very similar. That is very interesting. Love it.
Yeah,
love it.
Like we say, around 2030 and before 2030, FSD will continue to grow at an exponential pace, while AGI robot, taking up the third wave. But when the third wave comes, none of the wave in front of it matters.
That's true. That's true. And who knows what could be after this Tesla bot? Because as long as Elon is around,
I don't know what is after the bot. There's nothing bigger than the bot, because bot can build whatever the next thing come up, right?
Let's see what Elon has up his sleeve, because Elon is always like looking. Because we didn't think that the bot was gonna be a thing until they had this autonomous day in 2022. Like prior from 2022, nobody thought Tesla bot was gonna be a thing. So
can I give you some input about this one?
Oh boy. Yeah.
So after Autonomy Day, I know a Robotaxi is going to be a thing, right? They're going to increase the knowledge. They're going to build the AI model eventually. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be by code. There's no way human code can handle all the situation in the road in a safe manner. It got to be super intelligent by AI. I thought about that. And then when I think about, like, if they can build using AI, building a car, my wildest dream is they're using the AI to build a robot. That's and what's a robot better than a humanoid? And Elon he's a crazy genius who's into sci-fi and all that. It's gonna be humanoid. But I never talk about it. I don't even consider it a possibility because it's, to me, it's 2040 and 2050 and beyond. There's no point in talk about it. But in my mind, it's like whoever build a humanoid robot and make it usable, practical, will make the most money in the world. Nah, probably not Tesla. Let's worry about Robotaxi first. And then a few years later, it says build a humanoid robot. I'm like, fuck, I'm all in, dude. I don't care. I don't care. If there's one crazy dude can do it, it's Elon and his team. That's how I see it.
That's facts. That's absolutely facts.
I have to add this one note too. At that time, when I say humanoid is going to be a final form of AI robotic, it's the best. There's so many AI experts, I don't want to name names, who keep debating me in X and say, humanoid never going to fly. We don't need humanoid. We need specialized robot. And then I tell them, imagine you need a robot at home doing all your housework, right? The first thing they have to overcome is to get up the stairs, walk the stairs. And then I ask him, how do you overcome this challenge? What robot can do that? He tell me, well, there's a robot specialized in climbing stairs. I'm like, bro, show me a picture. And then show me a picture of a robot climbing stair. That's all it does, climbing stair. It doesn't clean the window. It doesn't vacuum the floor. Like, dude, you just proved my point. You don't need a specialized, you need a generalized robot. So whoever can build a generalized robot will be the first one capture the biggest total addressable market on Earth. I'm not debating those people anymore because obviously they don't have vision.
You know what's a good point that you can mention to these guys, because I do mention it to some of the people that don't believe in the bot here, is those little robot vacuums?
Yeah, Roomba.
So, Roomba. So if people are willing to buy those, and I don't know, half the time it keeps hitting a wall and it doesn't. I don't know. I see these videos. If people are willing to buy these things, it makes you question, why would they not buy a bot when it can do 1,000,000 times more than what this thing can do and better?
Exactly.
That's actually a really good case study. Maybe I should see how many people bought this stupid robot vacuum thing and see what the market cap is of this, and then see what the bot can do. That's actually a very good study. Maybe I'll do something. But that's a good point. That's a good point.
I want to make another point, which is the bot industry will be an endless amount of demand. Endless amount. You know what's the number one problem with modern human being? Loneliness, right? The more we socialize, sometimes the more you feel lonely by yourself. So companionship is a big thing. Now let's be honest. I'm not talking about sex and all that crap. I'm talking about like somebody you can talk to, right? I'm sure you watched the movie Her about AI robot. Okay, you must watch it. I sent you a link about. Basically, it's talk about AI become kind of sentient and be able to interact with people. Imagine now you have a robot with Grok 3.0 in there who can interact with you, talk to you in a humanoid format. There are tons of lonely people out there who buy it. Just for having her sitting down there and talk to you and like, hey, how's the day? I'm good. Oh, do you need this? Do you need that? Can you give me some news? How are we doing? Well, I'm kind of lonely. That market alone is unlimited.
That's
right.
But that's, I don't know. That's a little sad though, isn't it? Because it's like, man, now you're having interaction with the robot, But I get what you mean. Like the market is big on this, but it's just like, damn, it's
I know.
It's a little sad.
I know. But I'm saying there's a lot of not just physical work. There are a lot of non-physical work that the bot can also address in the modern world. So I'm not worried about the market at all. I'm just worried about the AI, how smart the AI going to be, how capable the robot can do. Elon knows all those challenges already. So those are not unknown. Those are known challenges, and it's known. Tesla will find a solution. Not to worry about it.
Not betting against that or against Elon. That's all.
Yeah, I know.
Sheesh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Sheesh. So we've been at this podcast for more than an hour now, and we talked about a lot of interesting things. And I really hope the viewers can, be more knowledgeable after this, and not be so panicked after something happens with the stock going down, and just be calm and relax and look more towards the future and be a long-term investor and look towards the next waves of the things that are coming, because that's what's going to that's what's going to really impact the stock and your investment and the valuation of Tesla. as we keep going further and further. So to end off here, is there anything you want to say, Joseph?
One more point for our fellow investor, long-term investor. Every single company, whether it's Tesla or Nvidia, whatever company you buy, is a journey. It's not an end goal. It's a journey, and the journey is to thicken your skin so that you can get through the pain, get through the fire. Your goal is to build your skin a tight skin. It doesn't matter which company you invest in. The most important is you have the right attitude, you have the right philosophy, and you have high conviction in the company you believe in. That's how you can sell through all this noise, fear, and uncertainty. That's it.
That's coming from someone who started investing in Tesla in 2019 and long before then as well. So these are good advices. Sheesh. I recommend you all to follow Joseph on his X, Shrimp Test Along. There's a link in the description as well, and his YouTube. A lot of good stuff. We thank you for the wisdom and this awesome podcast.
Okay,
Shout out
man.
to that. Shout out to you, and shout out to that awesome cyber cab hat, cyber truck hat. That's a really good hat. Make sure you guys smash that like button, and we shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.